Hey, we're going to go over a couple of algebra problems here that we are a little bit familiar with. I'm going to focus on this one in the middle here, code 8, where there are 3 pouches on the left and 6 coins on the left, and then there are 12 coins on the right. I'm going to start with this problem, and then we're going to do a different one. But we're going to do both of these problems in 2 different ways. First, let's look at what we've got here. This problem on the left can be written as 3 pouches and 6 coins equals 12 coins. Or it can be written as 3 groups of 1 pouch and 2 coins. And that's the way I've done it up here on the page. So this is 3 times x plus 2 equals 12. This x plus 2 bit here, that represents 1 pouch and 2 coins. And this 3 means there's 3 groups of these. When you have a number next to a set of parentheses like that, that means multiplication. So we're multiplying this 3 by this x plus 2. Again, that represents these 3 groups of 1 pouch and 2 coins. And then on the right side of the equation, we've got a 12 right there. So in one method, I solved this equation by dividing both sides of the entire equation by 3. So by both sides of the equation, I mean both sides of the equal sign right here. We've got a term x plus 2 and it's being multiplied by 3. So if I divide that all by 3, then I can get rid of that 3. And when I do that, I have to divide this by 3 as well. So 3 times x plus 2 divided by 3 is 1 times x plus 2. In other words, just x plus 2. And 12 divided by 3, of course, is 4. So then we're left with x plus 2 equals 4. Now, I want to simplify this again. I can get rid of this 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides of the equation, because whatever I do to this side, I also have to do to this side to keep the equation equal on both sides of the equal sign. So I subtract 2 over here, and x plus 2 minus 2 gives me just x. That leaves x because the 2's were subtracted from each other. And then we subtract 2 from this side, and we get 2 left over. So that's x equals 2, and we can't simplify an equation any more than that. We have 1x on one side and 2 on the other. The same equation I did over here, except this time I used the distributive property. The distributive property just means when we have a number outside, a term inside the parentheses, that we can multiply each of those parts of the term separately. So we have 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 2 is 6, and there's still that plus sign in between. So it's 3x plus 6. That's the distributive property, and that allows us to rewrite the equation without parentheses to deal with. And now I've got 2 things to worry about. For starters, I've got this 6 here, which I can subtract from itself, and I get 6 minus 6 is 0, so that cancels that right out of my equation and leaves us with 3x on the left side of the equation, but we also have to subtract 6 from the right side of the equation. So 12 minus 6 is 6. So that leaves us with an equation that is 3x equals 6. Why are these 3's under here? Well, I want to get this x all by itself right down there. So I'm going to divide it by 3, because 3x divided by 3 is 1x. And that leaves the x all by itself. And then 6 divided by 3, of course, is 2. So we have the same answer that we had over here. X equals 2 and x equals 2. Same thing. Let's look at a completely different equation down here. This one, in case you're wondering, in the packet, it is located on page 45, and it's up in the upper right-hand corner. -2 times 2x minus 3 equals -2. And this is what the equation looks like right here. Whoops, sorry, down here. So there it is. -2 times 2x minus 3 equals -2. I'm starting by using the distributive property this time. -2 times 2x is -4x, and -2 times -3 is +6. So what that means is we've turned this whole thing into -4x plus 6. Notice that that is a minus sign there, a subtraction sign, which also serves as a negative sign here because 2x minus 3 is the same thing as 2x plus negative 3. So we can look at this as a negative sign. And then since negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6, we now change this term to negative 4x plus 6, because negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x, and negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. And then the negative 2 over here, we didn't do anything to it all, so that stays the same. Now we just have an equation we can solve by getting rid of the terms we don't want, like this 6. Let's subtract 6 from that. If we subtract 6 from over here, we end up with now negative 8 on this side, and we have negative 4 left over here. Notice I've divided both sides by negative 4 because that's being multiplied by 8. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. And negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1. So it means negative 4x divided by negative 4 is 1x. And that leaves us with x equals 2. Now I did the same problem down here, but I did this one a little differently. Instead of using the distributive property, I noticed that this whole term, this entire term, is being multiplied by negative 2. So I could divide that whole thing by negative 2, and that leaves us with this term all by itself, 2x minus 3 down here, because this divided by this is 1. So now we have 1 times 2x minus 3. And since I did the left side of the equation divided by 2, I have to divide the right side of the equation by negative 2 as well. Both of these are divided by negative 2. And that negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. So we have 2x minus 3 equals 1. And notice I've added 3 to both sides of the equation because we have this negative 3 here. It's 2x minus 3 is like saying 2x plus negative 3. So in order to cancel this out, I need to add 3 to it. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, so that gets rid of that. And 1 plus 3 is 4. So our new equation is 2x equals 4. And I'm going to divide both of those by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so 2x divided by 2 is 1x. And 4 divided by 2 is 2, and that gives us 2 for our answer. Now before I go, I should mention that to prove all of these correct, I would want to go through and take this 2, which is the same thing as x, and replace that x with 2 and see if it adds up. 2 plus 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. 12 equals 12, that's a true statement. So that one's right. Same thing up here, I could use that down there just the exact same way. And then down here, the answer to this one was also 2, coincidentally. If I put it up here, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and that's over here as well. So negative 2 equals negative 2. That's a true statement as well. Wow, 8.5 minutes. Thank you for paying attention to this whole thing.